Anybody want to take a guess?
Well, I gave him a general ballpark a few minutes ago. Yeah, I wasn't looking at the account, so I didn't know the exact number, but I gave him a ballpark.
What was your number?
I believe we're down over 80%.
83.7 to be exact. It's really easy to figure out from 10,000.
See the
$1,670.
And I didn't have a single position that I took in there that had a good year. And because I averaged in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the year, and then the 10K challenge, like I set it up, unfortunately, this was the worst year you could ever possibly do that. Everything finished down dramatically. There was almost no place to hide. You know, had I been Jeff, I would have picked some supermarkets and maybe been okay. I did not think the small cap high growth stocks coming into 2022 had already been totally destroyed. So, you know, usually there's a rotation at some point. Well, from that point where they were totally destroyed, most of them are now down another between 50 and 90% from that point where I thought they were already oversold. So I was wrong.
I got a great little, let's do a little thing real quick. We'll go through everything that you have in here and what you think prediction for 2023 will be, okay? Okay, for example, Cleanspark. We bought Cleanspark at, it says it's $2.04. We paid $6.24. Do you think we'll get back to $6.24 in the year 2023?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
Now, we've already shown what my predictions are worth, but yes. I believe that Cleanspark
how much more rocky road do you see in front of us?
I feel like they've got another quarter where they can mess around with us. Here's the thing. Here's what I'll just give you a heads up on my view of 2023. They have beaten up the small cap stocks. It's just trying to get blood from a stone. There's really very little left. You know, when you've made, let's take for instance Marathon. They were a $7.5 billion company. Well, they got them down to $300 million. Is there really anything left for them to take at that point? They've already taken $7 billion out of that market cap. So do they want to try to do that, or do they want to go to an Apple or a Microsoft where there's still trillions of dollars left and try and get, a couple $100 billion out of there? So that's what I think is going to happen. And at some point, when the Fed is done doing what they're doing, this year was all about the Fed. I could not have told you on the first day of the year that the Fed was going to have their most aggressive year of raising rates in 50 years. So, again, if there's just it is what it is. Oh, yeah, it's not even close. Paul Volcker was the last one that raised rates at a rate like this. We've been at close to zero interest rate for 20 years.
Do you think, and this is not politics, but this is just a question, do you think if there was a different administration that things would have been different?
I don't think things would have been that much different for the stock market. I think the inflation, if you guys remember, everybody in the Treasury, everywhere, everybody's favorite word was transient.
Inflation.
Right, inflation's transient. Well, what does that mean? Because I don't think it means what they think it means. So they were just dead wrong on that. So they were going to have to. The only difference would have been they would have had to start raising. They should have started raising rates. They should have got out ahead of this. Instead, they've been chasing it. So either way, they were going to have to raise interest rates, and they're not done. But they will be done because there's only so far we can go before the housing market goes into a full-blown depression that makes the stock market look like a joke. So there is a limit on what they can do raising rates, in my opinion, and we're getting close to that. So I think by the end of the first quarter, we will have seen a signal by the Fed that they've done all the rate hikes they're going to do. And that's going to be the beginning. And really, more so than the rate hikes, if you guys remember, I mean, in the U.S. here, they were just raining money for several years. It was like stimulus check, another stimulus check, more money, and and that was all part of the quantitative easing that they were doing, and that that caused a bubble in everything, I guess, really, but the stock market obviously in specific. And now, they switched from quantitative easing to quantitative tightening and raising rates, the most aggressive they've ever done, in the last 50 years. So, yeah, that's a formula for a very bad year in the stocks. But most of that is in the rearview mirror. And although everybody keeps debating, are we going to go into a recession, everybody already knows you can call this whatever you want. We've been in what I'm calling a recession for quite some time now. So, that's built into the stock market.
The next one is Bitfarm. We purchased Bitfarm at $2.80, currently trading at 44 cents. We are down 85% on that.
Yeah, and at $2.80, I mean, if you would have told me that was a bad deal, it's incredible. It's mind-boggling to me. Somebody, or I think Sour Melon Gaming said, it's just unbelievable that Bitfarms and I think they were talking about maybe Hut was under $1. Yeah, that was worse than my worst case scenario by a lot. So, but there's no way I was going to sell it. But the problem in that portfolio was I couldn't dollar cost average in throughout the year. So that's what we bought it for, and that's where it sits. So, now you either got to sell it at a loss or wait for it to come back. And again, I expect that one to come back and go way past that.
Should we put in enough money to get it to 10,000 again and try it again? See if we can get that to 20.
I mean, we can try to, instead of starting a brand new one, let's not leave that left for dead. I think that's a good idea. Let's take two. Take two on the 10K.
8,300, 8,350.
And it will be a different, I can tell you guys right now, it's going to be 2023, especially in the Bitcoin mining sector. It's just going to be a different, well, it's going to be similar to 2022 to start out with. So I will be taking a different strategy for trading in that. Right? We haven't had a year like this. I'm mostly a buy and hold trader, and I know Alex, who I just saw, said something. Oh, and hold on. I couldn't disagree more with you, Tom. This administration destroyed the middle class. Well, the middle class has been destroyed, Alex. So I'm not, you're not going to get an argument from me on that one. There's no question about it. My point was more that interest rates were going up, no matter which administration was in. But yes, I do. I mean, this has been brutal on the middle class in historic ways that I don't even think everybody really understands yet, just how difficult this was and is going to be to get out of.
Okay, let's move on because we got a lot of stuff to cover. You got a lot of stocks. NNDM, Nano Dimensions, I believe that is, right?
Nano Dimensions, that's another one.
And
I think that's
paid. Hey, this is probably the least amount we lost money on. We bought it at $269.94, and it's currently at $2.30. We're down 14%. What do you think?
We're down 14% on that one. That's another one I would dollar cost average into. They have, I believe they still have twice as much cash in the bank and no debt than their total market cap. So
in theory, if they could shut the company down and pay double the amount of
they
their
could give
stock price.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So to me, that's, it didn't, obviously, this is not a small cap, high growth stock environment, and that's what that company is, but they're also basically a bank. They got $1 billion in the bank, and it would take them, 30 or 40 years to run through it. So they're making strategic purchases. I think they actually had a really good year, but still even with a good company on a good year, they're down 14%. That's probably as good. There's not too many companies that did that well. So
Yeah, really. Okay, next one is Curiosity Stream. You bought it at $4.34. It's $1.14.
yeah, that stock has gotten wrecked. I will say I have lost a lot of confidence in Curiosity Stream. The entire streaming world in 2022 got decimated. So,
So you wouldn't double your position in that one?
I would probably switch to Paramount.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So I have much more confidence in Paramount right now than I do in Curiosity Stream. So that's
this not the next one's not an interesting one, but the one after that's really interesting. Okay, the next one is HUT. We bought it at $3.43, and it closed today at 85 cents.
we bought it, and I thought I was getting the deal of the century. I waited. I waited a month to buy those. So those are lower prices than they would have been. So I really, at that time, I thought $3 was some change for HUT. Wow, we're gold. It had just been at $16 not too long ago, a few months before that. So, an opportunity to snap it up at 3 looked good. It does not look as good now at 85 cents.
Why do you think big money comes in and takes out a sector like crypto and for an example, Bitcoin? Why do you think that happens?
Well, a lot of things happened this year. There was a confluence of events, including, a lot of ESG stuff and there are a lot of crises in the crypto universe. But big money is there's no. It's just, to them, this is just money, and it's just, I'll call it a game. If there's a weakness, they'll exploit it. So there was weakness here. And this is what they did. If they can short a stock if they see a company where if they short heavy, they can drive them out of business, they'll do it. So if your company's not strong enough to withstand that, this is what happens. And in this industry, they took the whole thing out, all of it.